You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense.
Hello, and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that's suitable for all ages from to and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and listeners, I can't stop chewing this one piece of bubblegum. Now, I'm sure your wailing flump butts, sorry, I mean grown-ups, I'm sure they tell you that bubblegum is really bad for you. And, hey, they're right. I mean, it is, right? I mean, it's made of bubbles and gum, and I'm not sure you're meant to eat that. But thing is, I just thought, hey, do you know what? I really feel like one little piece of bubblegum. Just one little piece. And now, I can't stop chewing it. And I've been chewing it for 6 days. I can't stop, and there's no flavour anymore, and my mouth and teeth are really starting to hurt, and I can't even remember what flavour it was when I first started to eat it, actually. Linda, do you remember what flavour the bubblegum was, Linda? No, I thought not. On the plus side, though, now I've been chewing it for this long, it does mean I can make some really amazing sized bubbles with it. Check this out, listeners. Ha, that is nothing though. Wait for it. Whoa, that is a huge bubble. Oh, it's fallen out of my mouth. Oh, sorry, it's a bit disgusting, isn't it? That must be the biggest bubble, though, that I have ever seen. And it's still there. It's not popping. I mean, this is amazing. It's at least as big as Large Claire down the road and probably twice as big as Comedy Club for Kids HQ. Right, I'd better pop this bubble, though, before... Can I just have 1 week at Radio Nonsense where something weird doesn't happen? Yes, listeners, Comedy Club for Kids HQ has only gone and got stuck inside the bubble. I mean, of course it has. Oh, I should have spat out that gum ages ago. I wish I just knew how. Saying that, it is very nice in here. It's very quiet. It's obviously a bit sticky, but it's mostly very comfortable. And we seem to be just floating upwards. Amazing. It's like my own personal, slightly sticky, slightly sort of covered in saliva hot air balloon. Right, well, I'm going to relax and enjoy this. And luckily, because all of Comedy Club for Kids HQ is in this bubble too, I can get to the mailbag. First things first this week, thanks so much to all of you who entered the competition to win a copy of Dexter Proctor, 10-Year-Old Doctor by Adam Kay and Henry Packer. And I'm very excited to announce the winners. So, I asked everyone who entered to send in their own made-up Doctor joke. And first is from Wailing Carrot's cousin Twice Removed, who made up these amazing Doctor jokes. And for this, I'm going to do a doctor voice like this. And that's the doctor. And the other voice, my voice, is going to be the patient, just so that helps you out. So, Doctor, I feel like an egg. Are you yoking me? Doctor, I feel like a fish. Yeah, you do look like salmon's up. Brilliant. Congrats, Wailing Carrot's cousin, Twice Removed. You have definitely won a copy of the book. Those are absolutely brilliant. Very well done. Then we have this amazing joke from Molly, who sent in, Doctor, I think I'm a piece of kitchen towel. Well, just wipe that thought from your mind. Brilliant. That's so good. Thanks so much, Molly. And a copy of Dexter Proctor will go to you too. And for our last winner, Eliza, who, thank you, sent in this brilliant Doctor gag. Doctor, I just got a pony, but it's not neighing. Well, I think it's gone a bit hoarse. Incredible. Oh my goodness, you three are like professionals. You've won a copy of the book too, Eliza, and that'll get sent out to you very soon. And I have to give some honourable mentions both to Ava and Ave, not related, who both sent in great Doctor jokes, but because the competition was only for those of you in the UK and Ireland, these two sadly couldn't count. But the jokes are excellent, so I thought I'd tell you them anyway. So Ave said, "Hi, I live in Australia, so I can't win, but I decided to send it in anyway, so here it is. Doctor, Doctor, I fell over a piece of broccoli and hit my head on an elephant. I need surgery. Thank you, bye-bye. And this is from Ava. This is my Doctor, Doctor joke, even though I don't live where you said we're only able to enter, but here it is anyway. Doctor, Doctor, I feel like diarrhea. Because you've been eating too much vitamin D. Ta. I just pooped my pants. Incredible jokes. Thank you very much for those, you two. And I'm sorry the competition wasn't open worldwide. Hopefully one day we'll get to do one of those. And I have to say I'm very glad those are all Doctor Doctor jokes and not real-life Doctor incidents, because they all sound like they'd be awful things. Awful things to have. I don't think anyone wants to fall over a piece of broccoli and hit their head on an elephant. That's it for all of our competitions at the moment. But if you have a question you'd like to have answered, or you want to send in a joke anyway, or anything else at all, then do get your nearest wailing flump butts, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. Or you can send a message on the Spotify Q&A, but don't put any personal details on it. Don't do it. Stop it. And you can also leave a review for the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. And if your grown-ups would like to support this show, they can sign you up to the advert-free Linda edition on Apple, patreon.com/Comedy Club for Kids, or Acast Plus. Well, listeners, I have to say, I'm very happy just floating along. I might just have a little snooze in this giant bubble. While I do that, you have a listen to this most important to spit.
But first, we're going to have a bubblegum blowing contest.
It's Alasdair Beckett King, aka Alasdair, who knows the names of every Earth-based bear, aka King Beck Selassie, royal representative for a single green pea, or as all of our listeners who are long fluorescent tube light bulbs in an old building know you, But of course, Alasdair, you are very well known for your efforts to make semaphore flag waving the #1 international language, for your amazing tapestry depicting the time you went to the shops and they had no crisps, all woven out of belly button fluff, and most famously for your remixes of history's most famous classical music pieces, because you're certain they could all be real dance floor bangers. Alasdair, it's such a joy to have you back on the show. How are things?
I'm semaphoring my reply. I don't know if that's coming across to the listener, but these flags are a-waving.
I'm enjoying it, and I wasn't sure. I was going to ask you, I didn't know if you wanted me to translate while you did the flag waving, or if... I'm not really sure how else to get it across. Do I just sort of say, orange flag, red flag, green flag?
Yeah, I think that's the clearest way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, what I'll do is, as I semaphore, I'll semaphore throughout the podcast, but I'll just talk as well, just to make that a little bit easier.
That's lovely.
Okay?
That's very helpful. Thank you. I don't... I was going to say I've flagged this up before, but it is a problem. I don't speak full semaphore. I can do a little bit. I know some of the obvious ones like I'm on fire, or I surrender. That's quite an easy one. Just wave the white flag. Yeah. We're a pirate.
There's both of your arms out either side, and I think that is the letter T, isn't it?
Oh, nice. That's nice. That's very
the letter
easy.
T,
yeah.
And you can do I as well, like that. I'm thinking of the YMCA approach to semaphore.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Y is easy to do. C, I never really felt C works, where you've got because your head gets in the way.
And also,
and A, absolutely, that's not A.
We have to remember what way to stand for C, because if you're standing the wrong way, then everyone's like, "Why have you made a semicircle?"
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've embarrassed yourself.
Yeah, and you're right. In A, the middle bit of the A is your face. That doesn't work.
Your face isn't a line.
It's not a line, and I feel people should know that.
Unless it is a line, which is fine.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it's a good point. Maybe the person who invented that did have a line as a face.
Yeah, actually, that's quite insensitive of us saying, the YMCA dance doesn't work because your face isn't a line. But when, they could be standing there with a line for a face.
Yes, it's a very good point, actually.
Sorry.
It's one of those things that's not really credited to anyone, so we don't know who started it.
Who invented the YMCA dance?
That's sad, isn't it?
Mm.
Very sad. Well, I mean,
it's really upset me at the start of the podcast.
I'm sorry, Alasdair. Really I didn't mean to begin on
the start. You introduced me. I can't even remember what happened, and now I'm really sad.
I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to start on a sad note. I tried to make this a positive podcast, but it's important to remember sometimes people don't get kind of the acclaim they deserve for inventing these incredible things. I mean, who invented semaphore? Have you got any idea?
I think it was Steve Emaphore.
Oh, right. Yes, that makes sense. Yes, that makes sense.
And it's a portmanteau of his
Right.
full name, Steve and Emma Ford.
Right.
Or maybe
That's
Steve,
great.
Emma, 4 people.
Steve and Emma.
Steve,
4.
Emma, and then 4 more people who
4
didn't
more,
really make it.
Right. They can't have done very well. I sort of
They
feel like
can't- they
Steve and
probably
Emma put
weren't
the
that-
effort in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't come up with the main sort of flag thing. They just probably added
Yeah.
little details to it.
Yeah, I don't think they deserve any. If you haven't really put the work in, you don't deserve the credit. That's the other side of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That's
Well, demanding credit which you haven't really earned, that's a red flag.
Oh, is that how you signify it as well?
That is how you would signify
Right,
it.
sure, right, that's cool.
Steve and Emma, 4 other guys to
Yeah.
give it its full.
I was going to
name.
ask, because I was thinking about some of the other places I've seen flags, like on the sides of football pitches, when they wave flags, when like the referee or like a F1 car zooming races thingies, right? When they do flags, are they just waving a flag, or are they also saying, like, are there full sentences in there that we're not getting?
Sometimes there are full sentences. If they're not careful, there is a chance that an aeroplane might land in the middle of the pitch.
Wow.
So you do have to watch out. There's always someone there semaphoring, not really, or brackets JK, just so that any aeroplane going by knows, they're just having a laugh. It's just a football match.
Right. Gosh, that must have gone horribly wrong before, when there's a middle of a football game and there's just a huge 747 lands on the goal.
Very, very embarrassing.
Yes. Really embarrassing. And for the passengers too, because imagine you're thinking, I'm about to go to Spain. You're like, oh no, I've gone to Anfield or whatever.
Exactly. Here I am in the Emirates Stadium, which is very nice. You don't normally get to go on the pitch, but at the same time, it's not where I wanted to go on holiday.
No, that is awkward. There's a lot of responsibility. I admire that you've taken this responsibility. Look, I can't talk. I admire anyone that can talk, but I admire that you have taken this responsibility of semaphore for yourself. It's not an easy task.
No, that's me. That's me. I'm about to reveal a lack of knowledge about football here. Every Wednesday, I want to say, when football matches happen, I'm always there, signaling aeroplanes just to let them know.
I think
not a landing strip.
That's right. Football's on a Wednesday. Bins are collected on a Friday.
Exactly.
And,
not the recycling. The recycling is Friday, I think.
Right. That's right.
Are bins the same day everywhere? They can't be. That would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? They must be.
But is it not like the bin?
What a busy day it would be for the bin
like
men.
Father Christmas of the
people.
bins. They just come.
Yeah.
They've got the one day. They do
somehow
everywhere in the world.
They can do it really fast.
Yeah, they come in a sleigh, but it just smells a lot, and it's pulled by wheels, not
Really,
it's
a very
truck,
smelly sleigh.
Yeah. And
I suppose that's why we call it stink Santas. I don't think we call
right, is that
refuse collectors stink Santas. I
don't
retract
think
that statement.
Yeah, but they do carry a sack. Obviously, it's because they're normally taking it out of the bin.
A lot of sacks. It's kind of it's a reverse Santa situation.
It's reverse Santa.
It's your classic reverse Santa.
That's what we should call them, reverse Santas. That's a much better.
That's more respectful.
Yes, it's very respectful, and they wear boots, so it's kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes,
in my experience, they're
laugh.
Not that jolly.
No,
I've not experienced a great deal of jollity, but it is very early in the morning, so I'm not that jolly.
It's very early, and they have to smell bins all the time. Like, that's the hardest bit of that job.
Yeah, no, respect. It's an essential job, and they deserve our respect and gratitude.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's something that I always think that if someone wants to be nice to their bin collectors and they're reverse Santas, and they should be, I think you shouldn't put nice smelling things in your bin. And then when they open it, they're like, "Oh, another bin. Oh,
that's nice.
Tangerine and
that's lovely.
Pinewood Forest or whatever." Yeah.
Ylang.
Yes, that's it.
Ooh.
I don't know what a ylang. I've never known.
Neither do I. But you've got to say both, otherwise nobody knows what you're talking about. You can't just say ylang and then stop. People look at you baffled, and then when you eventually say Ylang, they're like, "Oh, Ylang.
Ylang.
I thought you were talking about Ylang."
Yes, it's like couscous. You can't have one kus.
You can't just say kus.
No, it's a Ylang couscous. Yes, I can't think of any. I can't think of any others where you have to say it twice.
BonBon, I suppose.
BonBon. Yes, which is good in French.
Good.
Good. It's not just good, it's good.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like that. That's very good. Would you consider being Alasdair?
I'd love to be Alasdair. Yeah, I'm a big fan of. I'm sure your listeners have read Catch-22 with its character Major, 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 Major.
They all have.
The very very long mid 20th century novel. And as a small tribute to Major, 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 I'm happy to change my name to Alasdair.
Right, that's
But
nice.
I might spell it differently for the first and second
Oh.
name, just to challenge people a little bit.
That's going to really annoy people sending you letters or typing
Yeah.
emails or whatever.
I think I'd like to be Alasdair, or Alasdair. Don't know. I haven't decided.
Right. Well, and would you spell the Alasdair, where the D is in your name, would you put a T, or would you spell it sort of like Alithhair? So it's like
Ooh.
Alasdair.
Yeah. Oh,
Stair, yeah.
I got a bit of that in school. Alasdair, because I've got red hair.
Right.
Occasionally, I got Ali Star, which is really very flattering.
That's
STAR,
nice.
Star.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
A name I have not in any way lived up to.
Well, I don't know. Are you gassy like a star?
I can be, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
I can be gassy and enormous, and I'm moderately bright.
I think that's fine. You count.
And sometimes I feel like I'm collapsing in on myself. So yes,
sure, yes.
Actually, yes. Now that you mention it, I am a star.
Yeah, and I also, I don't mean to be a sort of. I don't normally ask the guests their age, but you are millions of years old, right?
Extremely old. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm as old as the solar system. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, if anything, you are a star. Like
I am a star. Thank you.
And while we're talking, you're floating out in space. I mean, you're not floating. You're actually quite still, which is very impressive.
Well, I mean, everything's relative, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, that's true. Yes. Yeah. Hang on. Can I clarify that? You mean everything's relative? Not everything is your relative. Like that.
No. I mean, everything is my relative.
Right. Wow.
Yes. Big family.
Wow.
Birthday parties are a nightmare.
Yeah, I bet. And Christmas must be tricky.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Everything is my nightmare. Calculators.
Wow.
Filing cabinets. Trees.
Wow. That's
Dogs.
A lot. And how do you know what to get them for like a present?
It's extremely challenging.
Yeah.
It's very obvious with the calculators. They're just like numbers.
Sure.
But for the rest of them, it's a challenge.
Yes. Trees, water, I guess.
They love a little bit of water, bit of sunshine, and of course I'm a star.
Nice.
So
that's
easy. I can get that from work.
Yeah, that's true. But then, I suppose you got like a duck-billed platypus or something. You're like, what do I get you?
You're not even a mammal, are you?
No.
You're a marsupial. You're not making it easy for me.
Yeah, that's going to be tricky. That's what you've got. Wow, I mean, you've got a busy and tricky life there.
But hey, that's family.
Yeah,
it's not always easy.
That's true. You can't choose your family, can you?
No. I certainly would not have chosen this family.
No, because it's just way too much.
It's because it's literally everything in the universe.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to. I suppose I'm just sort of being devil's advocate here. They must find it hard being related to you. I mean, how do they come and visit you?
Okay. Oh, right. Sorry, I didn't realize I was on trial here. Okay. Yeah, admittedly, I've got quite a small flat, and it's very hard to put everyone up at once if they all decide to drop in.
Yeah.
The entire universe is a bit much for a small one-bedroom flat in South London. Yes,
that's right.
But I don't. I do what I can. The couch folds out. I mean,
that's nice. Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I know you try. I'm just
Bruce's on there.
I think it's important to see both sides of these, sort of complaints. That's all.
Yeah. No. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thought this was a safe space.
Well, where you are is, but where I'm talking to you from isn't.
It's a very dangerous space.
I'm surrounded by danger at any moment. Something very dangerous could happen. It also might not. But that's the thing with danger is
That's the thing with danger.
Can't expect it. Yeah, you just don't know. It's got to be unexpected.
If you knew it was happening, in a way, it wouldn't be danger. It would just be an event.
It'd be organised, an organised event. Yes, yeah. I think that's like people talk about like organised crime. I think there's also unorganised crime, which is when it happens by accident.
Disorganised crime can be the hardest to tackle.
Yes, that's it. And it's the same with danger. So unorganised danger is more dangerous. Disorganized crime harder to track down because there's no paperwork, no one's done any of the filing.
Very hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even know who's in charge. They don't know they're in charge.
They haven't got a clue. They didn't even know they'd done a crime. It was all by accident. Yeah.
You come to me on what may or may not be the day of my daughter's wedding. My schedule is very confusing.
I have no idea who I am. Yeah. I think that's
It's
very,
very disorganized.
very worrying. Yeah. So it's the same. Yeah, same with danger. I just, I'm not more worrying to not expect it. So, which actually, and I've already told you I'm in a dangerous space, so I am expecting it, which then of course has rendered it being a safe space.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So actually, I suppose you're fine. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have put you on trial at all.
All right. In that case, case closed. And I'm hammering a little gavel here. I'm doing the semaphore for a judge's gavel.
Oh, that's right. I got it. And is that?
Yeah.
Are you closing a case with the gavel?
I'm just closing my own case.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just getting myself out of a tricky situation there.
But is that like a briefcase and you shut it with the hammer? Like that's because I've always wondered. Like they say close the case is closed. They don't often actually have a case there. Like they don't have a suitcase or a briefcase.
That's true. Yeah. Where do they keep the cases? There's probably a filing cabinet. I should ask one of the family really because they'd know.
Yes.
The filing cabinet branch of the family tree would probably know about that.
Yeah. I mean, are you related to any cases?
I'll just make a quick phone call now on a telephone which I'm also related to.
Right. Sure.
It's ringing.
Oh, that's good.
Hello. Hi. It's ABK star relative podcaster. Hi. Just wondering if when they close cases in court cases, are they actual cases? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. No way. Hey. Oh. All right then. All right. Bye. All right. Love you. Bye. Sorry, it's wrong number. I don't know what I was
that's a
doing
shame.
there.
That's a shame.
We just don't know.
Wow. Oh, that's a shame. That'll never be answered.
We'll never know.
One of the mysteries of the universe. Yeah.
I was talking into a duck's beak.
I did think I looked, but because you said you were related to it.
As soon as I started talking, I realised my mistake, but I didn't want to say anything.
Well, it was that tricky thing. I thought if I bring this up and then you say, "Oh, it's my cousin," that's my cousin is a phone that looks like a duck's beak, and I didn't want to insult your family.
No, thank you for that. That could have been very embarrassing.
Could have been very embarrassing. Wow. Well, listen, Alasdair, thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you for
having me,
bringing your flags and most of your family, some of which are flags. And one of the reasons I've asked you on the show is obviously you've been on before. We've got a question that once again I think you are the person that can answer it. But like usual, we've got a couple of admin questions that I do have to ask you. Those are the rules. That's the law.
Of course.
It'd be illegal for me not to ask you these questions. So, are you okay with a bit of admin?
I'd love a little bit of admin.
Wow.
I love following the law.
Wow. Okay. Like, as in, sort of, you just sort of like creep around behind police officers, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just keeping an eye on them.
Right. Sure. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
If I hear evening all or what's happening here, then my ears immediately prick up.
Wow. And then do you do one of those little tiptoey kind of creepy walks? Yeah.
The annoying thing is it produces a bum 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 kind of music whenever I do that tiptoeing, and I just don't know where it's coming from. I don't know how to stop that from happening.
That's awkward, but I suppose from the police officer's point of view, they can't hear it over the sirens, so you're still quite undercover.
And they're always blowing that whistle.
Yes, of course. Yes. Well, I think again another great career choice by you once again. And, this is only a little bit of admin, so I think you don't have to follow any police officers during this, so I hope you'll enjoy it. But it is 2 questions, and I would say, I could be wrong, I think the second question is harder, but you take your time, you see how you want to do with these. So, Alasdair, question number 1 is, what is this?
Oh, that. I think it is 3 Bavarian juggling gerbils.
Right.
And to be clear, I want to distinguish the Bavarian juggling gerbils from the Bavarian juggling gerbils.
Oh.
The Bavarian juggling gerbils are Bavarian gerbils who juggle.
Right.
The Bavarian juggling gerbils are Bavarian gerbils who are themselves juggled by a third party.
Wow. So these are the ones that I should be juggling, or I should be letting them juggle.
You should be juggling with them. However, let me warn you,
Right.
the Bavarian juggling gerbils are notoriously vicious creatures. That's the reason they became juggling gerbils. It's impossible to hold one for more than a second without it nibbling, gnawing, biting, or indeed eating your hand.
Wow.
So you've got to keep them in constant motion.
That's very hard. So really, you should only be juggling these if you are an absolute juggling expert, one of which that barely ever touches your juggling implements whatsoever.
Yes,
yeah.
really. I mean, in an ideal world, you don't want to be touching them at all. But the tricky thing is, they're such voracious eaters; it's very hard to contain them. So the only container that you can keep them in that they can't eat their way through. They're like aliens' blood; they can just eat their way through almost any container. You have to keep them in a container made of other living Bavarian juggling gerbils, which are notoriously difficult to form into a cage.
Right.
So
and then, of course, how you have to keep them inside something.
Those need to be kept in a larger cage made of Bavarian juggling gerbils, yes.
Right.
And again, they all need to be kept in constant motion. It is an admin nightmare.
That's very hard. I'm
very impressed that you've managed to get a few.
Well, they were delivered. I've only just opened the box, and I haven't touched them. So I suppose I'm all right. They haven't eaten their way out of the box though, so maybe they're sort of sleepy.
Perhaps they're
sleeping.
Know. Yes, you have got very lucky there.
Right,
if you've caught them dozing.
Right,
they only sleep once a year, so be very, very quiet around them.
I will lower my voice. No, I'm going to be honest.
Sorry,
with you,
I didn't say that. I meant extremely loud. They hate quiet
sorry.
noises. You've got to be
right.
You've got to be as loud as possible if you want to keep them quiet. Keep them asleep.
Right. That was lucky. I nearly woke them up by whispering.
Yeah, you nearly woke them up by whispering. They hate whispering.
Right.
And they hate lovely little cushions, and they hate having little blankets tucked up to their little chins. They're very, very cute, but they resent it.
I see. I appreciate that. I was going to ask, I didn't want to admit this to you, Alasdair, because especially, it's hard shouting all the time, isn't it? I didn't want to admit this to you.
Shall I shout as well to make it a bit easier?
If you're okay with shouting, I can hear you.
Put your headphones on them, and I'll shout them to sleep.
Okay, I've put the headphones on them.
Go to sleep, little gerbil. Is it working? I can't see them.
They haven't moved. Oh gosh. Yeah, don't do that. You make yourself ill.
Oh,
you've shouted yourself sick.
I've shouted my own mouth off.
Well, yes. I wasn't sure if that was, a relative of yours disguised as a mouth, or if that was your mouth, and I was a bit worried to question.
At this point, I don't know.
Wow. Well, then, are you going to put the mouth back on?
Yes, yeah, but I'll just rub it on my sleeve first.
Nice,
5-second rule.
Good idea. Absolutely.
Okay, there we go.
I was going to admit to you, Alasdair, and this is quite a big thing to admit, but I can't juggle.
You can't juggle?
I can't juggle.
You call yourself a children's entertainer, and you can't juggle?
That's true, but I don't call myself a juggler.
No, yeah, true.
Yeah. I don't call myself.
You've really called me on a technicality.
Yes. So this could be like. Can I just put? It was not nice to put living creatures in the bin, so I won't put them in the bin.
I don't think you should put them in the bin. It would not be fair on the reverse Santas to leave them to deal with such a mendacious rodent.
That's very true. Very true. Yeah. What should I do?
Unless you douse them with ylang first, I would say.
Yes, and then they say, "Oh, what a lovely scent! Ah, it's eaten my arm."
Yeah, that's the thing. And then the bin collector comes knocking on your door if they have an arm left to knock with, possibly the head. Boom, boom, boom. What's that? A gerbil's eating your arm. Is that my problem? Yeah, in this case it is, yes.
Yes, it is, yeah. And I mean, unless, of course, I am assuming that they aren't expert jugglers, in which case putting them in the bin smelling of ylang could be the best thing that ever happens.
Yeah, it could be the start of a new career.
Yeah.
I think you'd better do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you should do it.
Fine, right, that's it. I'll throw them in. I won't throw them in the bin because I don't want to touch them, but I'll... Done. Yeah, I was
They're
very
in.
lucky then. They're still asleep. So, well, thank you, Alice. So you saved me from possibly having everything in my home eaten through by the Bavarian juggling gerbils. So thank you very much.
Very happy to oblige.
Yes, wow, that was good. That was great. I'm glad I asked you that one. The second question, I think this is hard. But see, you know, I say this to every guest. See how you go. You might be fine with this. Alasdair, would you rather the only way you could eat food was if it was thrown at your face, or every time you clapped your hands you got struck by lightning?
Oh, I think I would handle being struck by lightning very well. I think that would suit my vibe down to the ground.
Right.
Well, because
Right.
I'm already quite skeletal. You know the way when people get struck by lightning, you can see their skeleton just go.
Yes.
Their skeleton appears. I'm like that anyway. You can see my skeleton through my skin most of the time because it's very pale and
Right.
thinly stretched across the bone. So really, let's cut out the middleman and just have myself constantly struck by lightning.
Wow, but if you think if it's every time you clap, you'd be fine sort of sitting in an audience, clapping a wonderful cast of a brilliant play, and then being struck by lightning.
Yeah, I think what I'd probably do in that situation is not clap, but face down the scowls and fury of the people in the audience who think I'm being unappreciative.
That would be awful. That would be. I'd almost prefer to singe myself and others around me.
Go for a singe.
Yeah, just to because you'd be in a theatre, you're probably quite well grounded.
Yes, although I think perhaps you don't want to be grounded if you're being struck by lightning.
Oh, is that right? I can't.
I think the idea is not to be grounded because otherwise the electricity shoots straight through you into the ground, which is. I'm not an expert, but that's what you don't want to happen.
I see. I should just recommend to all our listeners to not get struck. If you're thinking about getting struck by lightning, don't do it.
Don't
do it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're struck by lightning, don't.
Yes, it's a very good idea. Very good idea.
Just don't.
Can I? Do you think, because one of the questions I have is obviously, as you said, if you are struck by lightning, everyone can see your skeleton. We all know that. We've all seen it in documentaries.
And your outlines become zigzag.
Yes, that's exactly. And then your hair is all frazzled afterwards.
Yes, which again, my hair looks like that most of the time.
Right. So that's interesting.
Maybe I am
default
struck by lightning by
all
default.
The time, just constantly.
If I got struck by lightning, I might go back to normal and look like a normal person.
Gosh, that's interesting. Maybe if you clapped, you'd be unstruck by lightning.
Okay, well, let's just. No, it isn't happening. We didn't.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. Well, that's because you haven't picked your. There is a chance you
haven't
could pick
actually
the other.
Chosen. Of course, I could have food thrown at my face.
You can have food thrown at your face, much like a seal. That's how seals eat as a default.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it would be absolutely fine as far as falafels, vol au vents, rich biscuits goes.
Yes.
Plums, grapes, I could manage that. I think soup.
Yes.
Soup is where it would become an issue for me.
Is that because tinned or untinned? What are you thinking?
I'm not sure which I would go for. I don't think I would enjoy tinned, but untinned, I don't know, a jet of hot soup.
Yeah.
Flying towards my open mouth. There's very little time to blow on it before it actually, hits tongue. So I'm just not sure.
That's fair. Yes, and do you, what would you say the largest thing you eat is?
The largest thing in one go?
Yeah, or like that you would have on a plate, because if it was being thrown at your face, I don't think the person throwing it would want to cut it into bite-sized portions. They'd probably just throw it whole, wouldn't they?
Oh, really? Yeah, sort of like an entire battered sausage.
Yes, yeah.
Thrown in one go.
Yeah.
Well, then again, it depends on the angle, really, whether I think I could deal with that. It sounds challenging to me.
It's hard, isn't it? I'm vegetarian, so I'd avoid some of these. But I imagine for people that say,
I'm also vegetarian.
Yeah, you're vegetarian.
I was thinking that was a corn battered sausage in my imagination.
Yes, well, but it gets you out of, if you think about those people that have like a hog roast, they would have to have a whole pig thrown
the whole
at their
hog.
Head.
Yes. Whereas with us, the largest thing would, I suppose, be maybe a cabbage.
Yeah, a lump of tofu or something. Wouldn't be too bad. A mushroom.
I suppose there's no upper limit when it comes to tofu size.
Oh, that's
there's no reason. You couldn't have a blob of tofu the size of a camper van thrown at your face.
Oh, that would be awful. But probably quite soft when it hit.
Very soft. I think as long as you just got a little run up, you could just shoot straight through. If it's silken tofu, no problem.
Oh, yeah, no, that's easy. Any day, any
anyone
day
can
of the
handle
week.
silken.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
I mean, I say this as a fan of silken tofu, but it's pretty pathetic. He's like, come on,
It's
what are you
barely
doing?
there.
Barely there.
It's quite
Absolute
expensive
nonsense.
for an object that doesn't really exist.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they've just
£2.25
really,
for some white air.
I mean, do you think that they've just really worked out a clever way to sell someone nothing?
Yeah, I think what they've done is they've just erased a little rectangle of reality and called that tofu.
Savvy. Very savvy.
They've just rubbed it out with a big rubber.
It's very savvy. But I was going to ask about the lightning though. I just have to check this with you because you pointed out, yeah, when you get zapped, you so's your skeleton. Why don't they use that instead of X-rays in hospitals?
Why don't they? Yeah, is that how X-rays work? Maybe could it be?
Oh, maybe they do just zap you with lightning.
They just strike you because whenever I've had an X-ray, they X-ray you, but then the doctor and attendants and nurses, they all leave the room as if something terrifying is about to happen.
That's true. That's very true.
So I'm not sure I'm not being struck by lightning.
Oh, good point. Yeah, good point. No, that's interesting. Well, I suppose you'd have constant X-rays. Could be useful if you've broken a bone or have eaten something terrible. I don't know. Yeah. Well, what would you prefer to do then? Would you prefer the food? Do you prefer the lightning? What's your?
I think I'm going to have to go with the lightning because if I decide I don't enjoy being struck by lightning every time I clap my hands, I can simply avoid it by wrapping my hands wearing oven gloves, wrapping them in a sort of fabric.
That's a good idea.
Fabric,
yes.
Perhaps.
Have you
like
thought
you would
about...
do to stop a dog from gnawing itself? I could just put those cones on my wrists.
Oh, clever. And that would look quite fancy as well, I think.
Exactly, yeah. I look like Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
Yes.
I'm sure the listeners remember
All
changing
the
rooms.
know Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Worldwide famous. Also, I don't know if you consider this, but if you didn't want to clap, you could also shout, clap, 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 clap. And then that's allowed as well. Yes.
I think people would find that completely normal in an audience situation.
I think so. Well, listen, thank you for taking those questions seriously. Thank you for giving me the attention they deserved.
Asking them.
You're very welcome. And I've got another one to ask you now. This is the big one. This is the big question.
Okay.
And this has been sent in by Liam, who says, and I shall read this all in one go. Hi, I am 946 stink bugs tall and 9.46 stink bugs old. I don't know if you're aware of the stink bug kind of measurement chart system.
I am now.
Yes. So I
think one of the few measurements that measures both height and age. Yes,
it does at the same, because often with stink bugs it's the same. That's what's interesting. Yeah. Well, to the point, there's a point. Obviously, 946 stink bugs tall is the same age as 9.46 stink bugs, and it's a very specific setting. But I think that means Liam is maybe about 30 to 40 centimeters high, and is at least, I'd say, 160 years old.
Oh, that Liam.
Yes, you know exactly which Liam I'm talking about.
Yeah. I know who we're talking about now.
Yeah, everyone knows that Liam, right? So
Liam.
Yeah, that's it. Liam.
That's what we call him.
Tiny old
and
Liam.
He never turns around.
No.
As he scuttles past. Liam.
He never does. Never does. But yeah, at least he sent a question in, so that's nice.
Well, nice. Good on him.
Yeah. Well, Liam says, my tiny old Liam says, my question is, why, when barbers cut your hair, it doesn't hurt, but when my sister pulls it, it does? Bye!
Well, Liam, yeah, you're absolutely right. When your sister pulls my hair, that really hurts.
It's awful. I don't know why she does it.
I think the reason is, when you're in the hairdressers and they cut your hair, and obviously, if you've seen the length of my hair, I don't go to the hairdressers very often. But from what I remember, I think the reason it doesn't hurt when they cut your hair is due to the anaesthetic numbing effect of the question: are you going anywhere nice on your holidays?
Wow.
If they don't ask that question at the barbers / hairdressers, then you're in for a universe of pain as soon as they start snipping. But once they've asked that question, it's so boring that it numbs the brain, and you're able to experience a haircut which is relatively pain-free. So if your sister were to say, are you going anywhere nice on your holidays, and then grab a chunk, you wouldn't feel it. In fact, it could be quite dangerous.
Wow. I mean, I suppose that makes the question, why don't barbers or hairdressers just pull people's hair out?
Yeah, it could save a lot of time. I find it quite tedious going to the barber. That's why I stopped when I was 14 years old.
Right, right.
Yeah, just get in there, get out, make the whole thing as quick and short as possible.
Yeah, they could just take a big handful of your hair, pull it all out at once, and then be like, "Job's done, get out."
In an ideal world, what they do is maybe pluck all of my hair out, and then I could, pop to the shops while they style it into a beehive or a perm or something, and then I could just pop back and collect it. I suppose what I'm talking about is a wig.
Yes, it is a wig, but with a more personal. I suppose wigs just stay the same, and if you want a different hair, you have to get a different wig. Whereas this would be a sort of bespoke hairstyling service that a bit like if you want to get your keys cut or your shoes fixed, usually in the same place, you leave them there and then you come back and they're done.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, this would be a nice way of doing.
But for your own hair, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice idea. That. Yeah, I quite like that. I've always wondered why I divulge something here, but I've got hairy toes. Why can't the barber give them a little style? Why don't I get a little hairstyle on them?
A little toe Turkish barber. Get a little fade on them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Come out looking incredibly dapper.
Yes.
Wow, check out. Have you seen Tiernan's toes?
That's right.
They're so stylish.
That's what I want.
Are they hairy enough that you could shave words into them?
No, I mean no. Maybe
I'm not
I need to try
proper
harder.
Hobbit toes.
No, that's my dream, I suppose.
That's what you need to be working towards. I think get enough of a thick coating of hair on the toes so that you can actually send messages really through an open-toed sandal.
Yes, that's a nice idea. It does make you, it does make you wonder. So that's the level of hair that, you could get your hair cut, but say take your pet dog in at the same time, and they'll just sort of do both.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. If it hurts cutting your hair without saying, "Have you been anywhere nice?" or "Are you going anywhere nice on your holidays?" What happens when farmers shear sheep? Are they whispering that to every sheep before they do it? Or
yes, unfortunately, a lot of the sheep don't understand the question, which is why you will see a little bit of panic in their eyes at times.
Right.
Some of them will wriggle and sort of try and fight because they haven't understood the question. Because most sheep don't really go on holiday.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Mm.
That's a real shame. I suppose the problem with sheep is they have to spend all day grazing, spend all night jumping over a fence in people's heads to help them go to sleep. Yeah.
During the pre-dream sequence, yes.
Yeah, that's it. The trailers, yeah.
They're very busy. A sheep's diary is very busy. A sheep's work is never done. That's why we get that well-known saying from.
Yes. Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that's where it came from. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. And I suppose the other question I should ask you really here is that, when Liam's sister is pulling his hair, your hair, my hair, the hairs of everyone we know, is she doing it with the aims of styling it, do you think?
I would like to think that, knowing Liam's sister, I think it's pure menace. I think I don't like to speak ill of someone on a podcast, but I think we are dealing with an innate criminal mind in Liam's sister.
Wow. Wow. Like supervillain.
I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry to say that.
Like sort of proper supervillain.
I think we're talking supervillain. I think so, yes.
Wow.
I think she does it just for the love of causing mayhem.
Gosh, and I suppose the only way to really combat that then is she's never going to ask Liam if he's going to go to a nice on holiday. So
no.
Does he need to make himself sort of as bald as possible? How to combat this?
I would recommend. I mean, he's doing very well to have a thick head of hair at the age of about 900, was it?
Yeah, something like that.
So I think it's time to go bald. Let's all go bald.
Wow, let's go bald. How would you feel? I mean, you've got a lot of hair. How would you feel about going bald?
I'm very frightened.
Right.
Yeah, as a stand-up comedian, I'd have to write a whole new set. And there's nothing I hate more than writing jokes. So it would be quite alarming to go bald. But I saw a photograph of my dad from the back, and there is a very he won't thank me for saying this, but he also probably doesn't listen. There's a very clear bald spot forming there. So,
Gosh.
hey, it's a future that faces us all.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, and also, think about the plus sides. You'll be so streamlined. Like you might suddenly become faster than you've ever been.
Yes, my head is actually shaped like one of those high-speed trains come to a point.
Right, yes.
Of a sort of Concorde cranium. So all I'd need to do would be to tilt forwards and then...
Wow. Did you grow hair to slow yourself down then?
Yes, I was going too quickly as a child.
That's what I thought, yeah.
It was that, and I didn't really like going to hairdressers.
Sure, of course. But it's very important not to constantly just get everywhere too fast.
Yeah, I was just whizzing about breaking the sound barrier every time I tried to run for a bus.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I think you've made the right decision. And listen, thank you for answering Liam's question. I hope Liam goes bald. Really?
Yeah, I hope you go bald, Liam.
Yeah, I hope you go bald, Liam. Liam, tiny old Liam. Well, thank you, Alasdair. Thank you for taking time to come back on the show and answer Liam's question, deal with our admin questions too. Before I say goodbye to you and your flag waving. I understand you have more books out.
Yes, I'm afraid so. I sneaked back on your podcast under false pretenses. I, in fact, have written books that I would like to tell you about.
Wow. I mean, that's quite dastardly of you.
It is extremely dastardly. Just call me Liam's sister.
Wow. Hang on. Wait.
You're evil. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Pulls off mask. I am Liam's sister.
Crikey. I didn't realise Liam was also one of your relatives. I mean, I know we...
Yes, but I gave you all the clues.
You did give me all the clues.
Everyone is my relative.
Well, listen, Liam's sister you might be, but these books, I believe, are not... You haven't signed them off as Liam's sister.
They're not written under the name.
No.
They're written under my nom de plume, Alasdair Beckett King.
Yeah, Alasdair Beckett King.
Liam's sister.
Yes, that's it. But they are the wonderful Montgomery BonBon books. And last time we spoke, only number 1 of these was out, I think, Murder in the Museum. And now we're on number 3. We've skipped number 2.
I did 2 more. Yeah, we skipped 2. I've sort of done 3 now. In fact, I've done 3.5 if you count the one that I'm supposed to be writing today, but I'm actually talking to you instead. That's quite naughty, isn't it? That's quite cheeky. If you're reading the 4th book and there's a bit where that bit's not very good, that's because I was talking to Tiernan, and I should have been writing it at that moment.
Bald. Yeah.
If there's a weird bit about a very bald small child, that's
right.
That's why
that'll explain it. So tell us about the listeners, if they've heard the first one ages and ages ago, Montgomery BonBon is a top fantastic detective.
Is that
correct?
But BonBon is also secretly a 10-year-old girl. I'm going to say that again grammatically. But BonBon is secretly also a 10-year-old girl called Bonnie Montgomery who solves crimes by putting on a false moustache and a funny, vaguely Poirot-like accent, and becoming the character Montgomery BonBon. And the first book is Murder in the Museum, as we have discussed. The second book is called Death at the Lighthouse. And the new one, which came out a few months ago, is called Mystery at the Manor.
Wow.
And Bonnie is moving her way through all the classic whodunit murder mystery locales in her quest to catch killers and solve impossible crimes.
Which, it sounds fantastic. I do also think it does sound like she can't go anywhere. Is there anywhere she could visit without there being some sort of trouble?
No, unfortunately not. It's the curse of the detective that you try and go on holiday. Minutes later, intrigue, mystery will be afoot.
Yes, it's unexpected danger, of course. You go to a manor or a lighthouse or a museum, you don't think it'll be dangerous, and that's why it is the most dangerous place you can be.
Exactly why it's the most dangerous place, yes.
Yes. Wow. So Mystery at the Manor, can we ask what the mystery is? I know obviously everyone listening should go and get a copy and immediately read it to find out, but what is the mystery?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll just read the entire book aloud now, shall I?
Sounds great, yeah.
No, okay. I'll just summarise it. It'll take less time. In Mystery at the Manor, Montgomery BonBon is commissioned to carry a mystery package to Addiston Manor in the middle of the Penumbrian Moors, which is a big old manor house owned by the famous con artist Fergus Croke. But when she arrives, she finds out that all sorts of shenanigans are afoot. Very soon after she arrives, Fergus Croke is found dead in his own monkey cage, and his apprentices are the prime suspects for the murder. But also, the package Bonnie was carrying may just contain the fabulously valuable and valuably fabulous Addiston diamond, which has gone missing.
Wow, that sounds intriguing. I'm sold. I'm in.
Thank you. I think I did pretty well remembering what that book's about.
You've done very well.
Considering I
now writing
wrote
the next
it a year ago and now I've completely forgotten everything.
Are we allowed to are we allowed to know where the trouble happens in the next one, or is this
the fourth book may just feature sabotage at sea and might take place on a reconstruction of an 18th century pirate ship.
Perfect.
In Widlington Historic Quay.
Amazing. Well, listen, they sound absolutely fantastic. The first one was brilliant, and everybody listening should get them from all good, evil, chaotic, neutral bookshops, whichever bookshops are available in the area where you reside.
Yeah, if you like mysteries and jokes, they have some of them.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Alasdair, for being on the show. And good luck with book number 3.5 and making it into number 4. Good luck with the hair and the lightning and all the relatives.
Okay, I'm just semaphoring my goodbyes to you.
This customer had the craziest request to make a 10-kilogram bucket of bubblegum sweets only.
Thanks so much to Alasdair for doing Semaphore all the way through that episode, really quite impressive, and also for taking time out of writing his next book to answer Liam's important question. Liam, I really do hope you liked your answer, but if not, why not write any complaints that you have on your hair, and then when your sister pulls it out, I won't have to see it. Alasdair's third Montgomery BonBon book, Mystery at the Manor, is out now and is very, very funny and an excellent mystery too. So do get it from wherever you get your books from, whether that's a bookshop, a library, the Book Goblin, or your natural flowing book river, your nearest one. I will put a link into the podcast blurb, and keep your eyes peeled for his fourth book out next year too, called Sabotage at Sea. If you have a question that you'd like to have answered, or you want to send in a joke anyway, or anything else at all, then do get your nearest wailing flumpbutts, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. Or you can send a message on the Spotify Q&A, but please don't put any personal details on it. What did I say? Don't do it. Why would you do it? And you can also leave a review for the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. And, of course, if your grown-ups would like to support this show, then they can sign you up to the Linda edition, which is advert-free, and it comes out one day early, but that's all the bonuses there are. But it does help this show happen. And they can sign you up for that on Apple Podcasts, patreon.com/Comedy Club Kids, or Acast Plus for a very small monthly fee. And while you listen to that importance bit, I had a lovely long nap in this giant bubble. I think Comedy Club Kids HQ now, we're somewhere over Panama, maybe. It's very nice, but I suppose I'm wondering how I'm going to get down eventually. Oh yeah, I guess that'll do it. Well, that wasn't too bad, actually. The stickiness sort of stopped the crash from being too bad. And I guess, me and Comedy Club Kids HQ are all back down to earth, even if it is in the wrong country, and I think somewhere on a mountain. And I'm sure this sticky bubblegum will wash off in the rain eventually. What? That sounds like giant footsteps. Oh no, not now while I'm covered in gum. Unbelievable. The whole building is now stuck under a giant shoe. It's going to be a long day. Bye. You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids Presents. Radio nonsense. Radio nonsense. Radio nonsense. Radio nonsense. Radio nonsense. It's the end.